Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in a series between Cytoplasm and WhiteRa. Game 2 going to Cytoplasm pretty convincingly. WhiteRa was able to shut down Cytoplasm's third base a number of times, but still didn't trade all that effectively as Cytoplasm in the end came out with the victory. Cytoplasm spawning as the purple Zerg here at the 7 o'clock position. We also see WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss here at the 1 or 2 o'clock position of daybreak. As WhiteRa looks to, yes, he will be setting up that forge fast expansion one more with that low ground pylon and now finally making his way out. Cytoplasm down over here. We'll see, yes, he is going to be doing a much more traditional build as opposed to the 9 spawning pool he did in Game 1 that didn't work out all too well for him. Now, Game 2 was a completely different story. He played a little bit more traditionally and was able to actually get pretty far into the late game. Never established up a fourth base, but had such a powerful number of Mutalisks that even Blink Stalkers couldn't deal with it, as there were Zerglings to deal with the Stalkers as well. Now, Probe still wandering around here. The drones just still mining away. Still no building just quite yet. Nope. Cytoplasm finally setting up a spawning pool, and with that spawning pool, it does pretty much tell WhiteRa that he does not have to worry about a fast hatchery just quite yet. The drone now backing away. The spawning pool about 1/3 of the way completed. So far, Cytoplasm hasn't tipped his hand, hasn't gone for the early gas, so I wouldn't be surprised if WhiteRa actually went for a Nexus first. Most of the time, if you do see a standard spawning pool at standard timings, you can afford to go for a Nexus first if you trust your front door. Then again, here on Daybreak, you do need a little bit more buildings for that Forge Fast expansion to really be successful, as we now see WhiteRa setting up a pylon here, and this is going to stop the hatchery from being built at the natural. Instead, Cytoplasm going to build it at the third, and then perhaps follow it up with a hatchery at his natural as well. You can see that a probe will be making its way down, and the probe will spot this. Cytoplasm doesn't know that it has been scouted out. Buildings have pretty much almost a 0 radius as they're being morphed in, or as they're being warped in, so there's not much you can really do. Probes now wandering around here, gonna go up the ramp, take a look around, and start mining once more. WhiteRa saving a lot of chrono boost, surprisingly, not chrono boosting out probes just quite yet. We can see that a gateway is warping in. We are also going into a photon cannon as well. It is going to be a 3-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss, as we now see WhiteRa getting in 2 quick assimilators, but hasn't gone for assimilators over here at his natural yet. If he does go for assimilators over there at his natural, I would suspect that he's going for some very heavy tech play, either Dark Templar or Void Rays. Meanwhile, Cytoplasm has yet to establish up his own natural, as WhiteRa is actually going to be able to establish up his natural expansion faster than Cytoplasm establishes his second base, but Cytoplasm already establishing his third, so he should be able to defend this pretty easily. But he needs a lot more queens. He needs those creep tumors in order to connect the bases. Otherwise, this third base over here, or his actual second base, is going to be a little bit too difficult to defend, and we saw how effective WhiteRa was with those early zealots against an undefended hatchery. Drones now just mining away once again. Stalkers are being added. We are out now, going into warp gate tech as well. The zealot now trying to chase after that Zergling. The Zergling still with a very nice lead, knows not to engage, as this zealot now going to just activate this Zelnaga tower, hold on to it, and gain a little bit more scouting information. The zealot will be running up that ramp here in just a moment. A second queen already being added. The third queen already being added, as there is now 1 queen, or will have 1 queen at each hatchery. WhiteRa now battling it up. Oh, almost able to take down a drone. Unable to so far, trying to get some damage in. I don't believe any real damage was done. No real damage done at all. So 125 resources versus 25 resources lost. just one Zergling versus, I believe, a canceled Pylon and a Zealot. So that is the difference here. Stalker now looking to engage. It does have a decent movement speed. And how much damage can it do? It is going to be going after a drone. One drone now down. The Zerglings and the Stalkers are battling it up. And it looks like the Zergling may get taken down. And the Stalker could get some easy shots off on an Overlord. The Overlord already taking down to 118 damage. Going to be taking in even more damage as well. You can see that the Queen now trying to make its way over. The Queen now taking a little bit of damage as well, as WhiteRa does have superior range on the Stalker. And he also benefits from the fact that shields recharge faster than hit points on a Zerg player. Robotics Facility now adding in Immortals. And this is going to look like some sort of bust play where you use Immortals for their high burst damage to take down a hatchery or some spine crawlers. Their hardened shields really not that effective against Zerg, as the Queen does only 4 damage times 2. The only thing it really helps against is spine crawlers, and right now even Cytoplasm doesn't show any spine crawlers just quite yet. Metabolic boost about to be completed. Tech to tier 2 now completed as well. We are, I believe, going into a second Immortal, as the Stalkers and the Sentries were, I believe, trying to shoo away this Overlord. It's down to 8 hit points, but it barely survives, as WhiteRa will be going into his second Immortal here in just a moment, and now also going into a Warp Prism. Alright, so Immortals, 55 damage per burst burst attack against an armored building or any armored units. No roaches just quite yet. Only one now being added. We are going into Glio Reconstitution. Are there a lot more roaches on the field? No, I don't see that many roaches on the field. Only a large number of Zerglings, as the Sentries are now going to try to engage. And here we go. The Sentries may be able to perhaps take down all of the Zerglings before. Nope, one Sentry does get traded in that exchange. Not together all too useful, as Sentries with a lot of energy definitely more valuable than, say, 4 to 8 Zerglings. Those Zerglings now looking to get in position to engage. There's one Overseer off here trying to gain some good scouting information. One proxy pylon has been established. It looks like WhiteRa going to lose his forward proxy pylon and may end up also losing his rear proxy pylon as well. Warp Prism now quickly warps in some reinforcements. Where are they going to go is the question. They could try to take down these destructible rocks. Immortals are in position. Zerglings now catching WhiteRa in an odd position there, as the Stalkers are now perhaps trying to take down more and more of these units. It looks as though the probe or the Zerglings unable to finish off this pylon. This pylon finally does get taken down, but at the cost of a whole bunch of Zerglings. Not sure who came out ahead there, as we are now going to get a round of reinforcements. And now Cytoplasm is going to be feeling the hurt. Roach is now looking to come in. The Immortal looking to finish off and deal as much damage as much damage. And wow, this Immortal down to 14 hit points, being very smart, deciding to back away, as the Immortals do have high DPS and significantly outrange roaches. So anytime you're able to significantly outrange your other opponent's units, as long as you stay out of that range, that is absolutely huge, as the Immortals now slowly regenerating more and more shields. WhiteRa sitting at 86 compared to 112. The Infestors do not have enough for a fungal growth. And we are now going to be going into more and more roaches. Warpin now coming in. WhiteRa with that proxy Warp Prism, just warping in units, moving home field advantage. And now Cytoplasm going to lose an Overlord. These drones have nowhere to go. This is not looking good. Cytoplasm has a supply lead, but is simply unable to stop his opponent's massive Stalker, Sentry, Immortal army at this point. One Immortal finally goes down. This Immortal with 26 kills, and that number just looks to continue to grow here, as Cytoplasm really doesn't have an answer for this. Roaches trying to engage and then being forced to back off and slowly get killed, as well, as we now see Infestors looking to perhaps do one final stop on this aggression. If he cannot stop his attack, I believe the GG will be coming in. Stalkers and Immortals just simply dancing their way forward, taking down multiple units. Are we going to perhaps see a force field on the ramp? No, a Guardian Shield instead, as the Roaches are now trying to run away. The Roaches are able to take down some of these Zealots, but you can see that the Guardian Shield really adding additional armor to some of these units here. The Immortal finally getting taken down. Oh, nope. Cytoplasm says the GG. Well played, as Cytoplasm loses Game 3 over WhiteRa, even though he had the advantage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.